Good day, my friends. This is Lucario's Claw here. Thanks for taking the time to sit in and watch this video. Today we're going to do something a little bit different by answering a few questions that you all have sent me in that I said I would be answering in a Q&A session. A couple of weeks ago I had posted a question on Twitter. My Twitter is @KestonHoward. You can see it there on the bottom of the screen here if you want to go and follow me on there. But a couple weeks ago, some of my followers on Twitter were asking certain questions to me, and I thought, why don't I go ahead and put up a Q&A response to see how many questions I would get, and I got quite a few, surprisingly, and we're going to be answering through some of them right here. So, without further ado, why don't we just go ahead and get right into it. @CrazyChickPlays asks, if you could voice act for any movie or TV show, etc., what would you voice act for? Oh, that's a good question. To tell you the truth, before it actually went off TV, one I had always wanted to voice on, or was kind of inspired to voice on, was Futurama. I always thought the voices on there were really well done. Some of the voices on there were brought to life by some of the people that did Animaniacs, one of my favorite classic cartoon series, and I always thought it was just so fun listening to them, watching them bring such a lively animation to life, really. And so yeah, that was the one I'd always wanted to voice for, but unfortunately it was the series ended. It ended a few months ago, and I was hoping it would go for a little bit longer by the time I would actually make it to that point, but oh well, live and let learn. What is the funniest moment / scene you have voice acted in? I think the funniest original scene that I have actually voice acted in was for an animation group called Group 5. Episode called Mike. I actually played a evil Hispanic dog-fighting champion named Azur. The fact that he was just so over the top, and if you actually go to the animation itself, you can see some of the scenes I'm talking about that I show up in there. And at one point where he sees a zombie dog that's been brought to life in a cage, and he looks at it and goes, "What is Kristen Stewart doing in a cage?" Just moments like that. I think that's probably the funniest one that I've acted in that is original. There are other things in there, but I think that's probably the top one for me. @Lana@1010 asks, what's your favorite band / singer? Ooh, now I've got a lot of favorite band / singers. Let's see. If I have to start naming them down, favorite classic rock band would be Aerosmith. Favorite country music band artist was Alan Jackson. Let's see. Favorite just rock band in general is a band called Skillet, if you've ever heard of them. I've got so many of them, but those are some of my top ones there. I always have running on my iPod or on my Mac right here. They know how to rock it out. @Aulethia, that's interesting, asks, what was the first thing you voice acted in? If you weren't voice acting, what would you be doing? The first thing I ever actually voice acted in, or actually inspired me to start getting into voice acting, was many, many years ago. It was a small machinima that was being done for Super Smash Bros. Brawl called Commando's Brawl Police, and they had me voice acting as Captain Falcon. It only lasted one episode and never took off or anything like that, but that was the first thing I ever actually started to learn how to voice act in, and it started to just slowly grow from that point. I'd always had an interest in imitating famous voices from cartoons or celebrities and things like that, and when I finally started learning voice acting was something that could be done even from the comfort of your own home, then I started just getting the right equipment, started to read up on it, and took my first shot at that little machinima, which I thought was pretty fun. If I wasn't voice acting, I'd say I'd probably be focusing more on another career path of mine that I'd always been interested in, which was music. A lot of you know that I have a lot of singing covers on my channel, and I am a musician on the side. I do play music, write music, and sing and everything, and I always wanted to get more into that, but now that I see voice acting is becoming a profitable venture itself, I've been focusing more on that too, so we'll see how the future works out on those ends. @GalaxDora asks, any advice for an aspiring voice actor? Well, if I had to pick one piece of advice, it'd probably be this little snippet from Troy Baker.
Step 1, save up your money, buy a decent microphone, and then wait for Nolan North and I to die.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Any advice that I could actually give to an aspiring voice actor would be to start learning how to act, to actually act, because that's obviously a big part of it. Start learning what kind of voices you have in your range, what kind of voices you can do. Don't focus solely on imitating voices, even though there is a market for that. Start building your own unique voices and start learning how to act out different scenes. If you want to practice, start practicing right on YouTube. Start picking scenes from favorite animated shows or things like that that you're interested in. Start learning how to voice act in those, and be sure to have good quality equipment while you do it and be able to know how to use that as you're doing the voice acting. And the biggest thing I could say, because I could say a whole lot about voice acting itself, but the biggest thing I could say is that don't ever stop learning, because you're always going to find something new in voice acting that can help you further along the path. And that's the way I feel, because even though I've been doing this for many years now, there's still a lot more that I can learn to do, and I know I can get better at it. So always have the drive to be able to better yourself in voice acting, and if you start looking in the right places, start talking to the right people, you will further your career in that, if that is what you really want to do. So that's the best thing I can say about that. If you were to play a role in any movie, what movie would it be and why? Well, my answer is a little bit unique. If I was to play a role, let me be the narrator for the trailer. Coming soon to a theater near you. More action, more suspense, more romance. At Gemini Mika asks, what's your favorite type of candy? I should probably show you, one moment. These little numbers right here, Ferrero Rocher candies, these are my all-time favorite. I love a lot of different types of candies like Reese Cups, Crunch Bars, Twix, but these I keep coming back to every single time. That is heaven in a chocolate ball right there. At Bushy23 Sergio asks, could we be friends? You're awesome, and I love your cover of Jack's Lament from a year ago. Well, thank you. I'm glad you like the Jack's cover, and for your information, just followed you on Twitter. At Emmy Loves Butter, I love that name, asks, what voices do you do for Athmal? A lot of people keep getting confused as to what voices I do, so let's go ahead and clear it up. I do a lot of voices for her, actually. The two main ones that people will recognize is that I play Zayn and Dante for Athmal in her main series. Now, I have done other voices for her, like most recently I've done the Demon Warlock from her Minecraft Diaries episodes. I've also voiced Lord of Scaleswind, Werewolf Prince, Werewolf King. In her Five Nights at Freddy's roleplay, I played Jed, the security guard, and the phone guy. Even played the Joker at one point for one of her off-series on the other side. So yeah, I've done a lot of voices, but the two main ones are Zayn and Dante. Who do you like more, Zayn or Dante? I'm talking about personality and voicing from Athmal's series. You gotta make me choose! Oh, it's such a tough thing. I don't want to alienate my two main characters. Personality-wise, I like Dante more, but voicing-wise, I like Zayn more. So yeah, there we go. I think I cover both of them pretty well there. At LaterHaters001 asks, will you reenact what you said when you were asked to voice act for Athmal? Sure. Went like this. Yes. Next question, please. Heavenly the Derp asks, what inspired you to become a VA? How many hours would you say it takes to record for Minecraft Diaries or any other project? Well, what inspired me to be a VA was, like I said, old animations from back long ago. Like, I was a big fan of like the classic Looney Tunes cartoons with like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Yosemite Sam, and also the old Disney animations and things like that. Learning how to do those voices and knowing that so many of those classic voices, like from Looney Tunes especially, coming from one person, like in Mel Blanc, that was really inspiring to me. And just seeing all these famous people that you'd see from movies even coming in and doing like voiceover work, like the biggest one for me, like my big inspiration was Mark Hamill with the Joker. Learning how to do that voice was very interesting. It's still one of my favorites to do. And that's one of my big inspirations there. As for how long it takes to record Minecraft Diaries, it really depends on how many lines you get. Sometimes it can take maybe half hour to an hour if you have a decent number of lines. But if I'm doing a live recording with Jess on maybe like one of her mini games and things like that, that can take up to 3 hours. So she really puts in a lot of work on her end trying to get these episodes out to you all, and it really does show in the quality of her work. How did you get the part of Zayn, and when did you start meeting some of the Minecraft Diaries cast? Well, actually this all started after I did some minor roles for her in, in some of her Minecraft series, like I said, voicing the Joker and other things. And she eventually came up to me and she said she had a part for a villain in her main series that was named Zayn. She said, I want to know if you would be interested in trying to voice for that. Said, but I warn you, said, a lot of people hate the character for what he's done in the series, and you might get a lot of comments and email about that from fans, basically thinking that you're Zayn. So said, would you be fine with that? And I said, yeah, that'd be fine with me if I get the part. So we got in a live call, I did the voice for her, and she said, you know what, this is perfect, let's go with it. And the rest is history after that. At Galaxy Plays MC asks, what is your favorite anime? Oh gosh, right now I'd have to say Attack on Titan, because I had loved how the anime turned out. I'm still reading the chapters that are coming out for Attack on Titan right now. Can't wait for the new season to come up on anime-wise and episodes, because I think there's a lot of stuff they can do with it. So yeah, that'd probably be my favorite choice right there. At Nyan Puppy says, do you go to PAX or any other con? I've only started going to cons recently, and only a couple times. I've not been to a lot like a lot of people have. The most recent one I went to was OhioCon in Columbus, Ohio, and I was able to go around there with a few of my friends that are in the area here. But yeah, I would love to go and check out some of these other cons, especially some of the PAX ones. I've always heard they're massive and there's a lot of things you can check out there. So yeah, hopefully I can start going to more of those. At Loves Lord Aphmau asks, how do you make Dante and Zane not in the same voice? I've been confused for a while. Well, it's really not that hard when you figure out what to do. So for Zayn, basically I just go into a bit of a lower tone. You have to have a little bit of gravel in the back of the throat. And whenever you speak, you have to have more of a different intonation in your voice. Like the way he pronounces his sentences, the way he intonates them, is always different from someone speaking like Dante. Because if you notice, he always starts his sentences in a higher range and then dips down a little bit lower. When as for Dante, you have to constrict the throat a little bit more. You almost sound like Sonic the Hedgehog when you're doing Dante, and it's not that hard to do, and Dante's a little bit more chipper. He likes to be a little bit more sarcastic in his speak, and he always seems like a fun guy. I always try to keep him lighthearted and things like that. So yeah, it's not that hard to do. And then here's my regular speaking voice. So there you go. Will you do any more covers on YouTube in the near future? Your voice is amazing. Well, first off, thank you for saying my voice is amazing. I really do appreciate that. And yes, I do plan on making more covers in the future. Right now, the cover I'm working on right now to develop is the one from The Road to El Dorado, the animated movie called It's Tough to Be a God. That's always been a really fun song. I've wanted to bring it to life here for a long time, and hopefully I'll be able to get it out soon for you all to see. And speaking of things I'm going to be doing in the future, I haven't had a chance to announce this on my videos recently, but I do want to put it out there that I'm involved in some other great things that are coming down the line that are not on my YouTube channel but are being developed by other people, so I want to get these out to you right now. For starters, there's a new series that's going to be coming out soon called Harmony Revolt. That's about a group of young freedom fighters, I guess you could call them, trying to bring music and emotion back into a world devoid of any of that. You can go check out the channel that I've got listed in the description and give it some support. I think it's going to be a really interesting project coming along. And also the biggest thing that's coming up for me right now, probably the biggest thing I've got on my plate, is that in the future, hopefully in the next year or so, you're going to be hearing me in an Xbox One game. It's called Victus Vincimus. You can go to this channel page that I've listed in the descriptions there. It could use some support. It looks like it's going to be a really fun game to play. It looks amazing already. And I'm going to be able to you're going to hear my voice in that. So yeah, it's really exciting. I really hope it turns out really well. And I think that's all the time I have here, folks. Thank you for taking the time to sit in and watch this video. If you haven't subscribed to me yet, go to the little button and hit subscribe. I really appreciate it. I hope to bring you more things in the future as time goes on, and until then, this is LK signing off for the night. Bye-bye!